our movie today, I'm so excited. I think all of us have seen it before, right? Before today?
Pocahontas, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Pocahontas.
Like 30 years from now.
And people probably listen to this have seen it because, like, I feel like everybody's just seen it. But yeah, it's a 1941 animated classic, Dumbo. Dumbo the Great. I'm so excited. This is, I think, the most I've ever written for like an episode.
On
Like,
the day that Michael and Alex need to leave early, good.
Yeah, you're gonna be here forever. I'm gonna keep you here forever.
Okay.
All right, let's get started then, I guess. Dumbo, the inspirational tale of the courageous baby elephant who, with the help of his clever friend, Timothy Q. Mouse, uses his sensational ears to soar to fame.
Wow.
Considered one of the most emotional films in Disney history, and with good reason, I think, as we all can admit. It'll make you laugh, make you cry, make you cringe at some of the depictions in 2022, but it's got everything. Based upon a children's story written by Helen Aberson...
Keller?
Not Helen Keller. Helen Aberson Mayer and Harold Pearl. The book was actually first brought to Walt's attention in 1939 by Kay Kamen, the studio's head of merchandising. It was in the form of a roll-a-book that included Dumbo.
What's a roll-a-book?
It's like a little tiny miniature book for like children that like contains multiple stories in it, but really just like a couple pictures with like captions underneath it.
Like a Rolodex, but for books?
Kind of, yeah, and it was for children.
Neat.
That roll book, by the way, to this day, not a single copy of the original can be found
Really?
for sale anywhere.
If you have it anywhere.
Yeah.
Somebody's got the original somewhere, I guess. We don't know.
Who.
Where were they produced first? Like, were they in the United States or were they...
Well, this story originated by two people from the United States, I believe. So I think it originated here as well, too, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just wondering, because it's like, you said 1939.
Yeah, that's
So,
when
like-
that's when it was brought to Walt's attention.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, if they were not produced in America, then maybe World War II had something to do with the fact that we can't find any.
Yeah, it could have. But since it was brought to his attention, he immediately saw the potential in the heartwarming story and purchased the rights. Originally, it was intended to be a short film, which I can kind of see because it
kind of is a short
still is
film.
short.
Yeah.
It is like the shortest.
That was something
think,
I
right?
loved about it.
Yeah.
I
But
can't
you know-
sit for very long.
And it also has like a silly symphony kind of feel to it too. There's
Yes,
a lot of music.
a lot of
There's
music,
not a
too.
lot of dialogue,
Yeah.
and it just
Oh, there be music.
yeah. There's
Well, also, I feel like the thing that you're waiting for the whole movie, I didn't realize it didn't happen until the last, like, 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I didn't realize that. Sorry, I guess, well, we can get it.
I didn't either. I
No,
felt the
you're right.
same way.
Yeah.
2 years after the rights were purchased by Disney, he seemed to kind of put it on the back burner and lost interest in the story. That was until two storymen by the name of Joe Grant and Dick Humer, who worked for Disney, decided to persuade Walt on maybe making a movie out of it. Persuade, what did I say?
Persuade.
Persuade. Tomato. How so? They wrote up the film in installments and would routinely place them on Walt's desk every morning. They would even entice him by placing a little teardrop on the cover of their installments, and they wrote, "Read no further unless you have a strong character and can take it, because what we're going to tell you, you won't believe. See you tomorrow."
Oh my god, the world's first trigger warning.
Right? After a couple days of story reading, Walt finally ran into the story department saying, "This is great, what happens next?" And so it was written, so it was done. Dumbo's isn't Walt Disney's next movie.
Yay.
A decision that Walt, no doubt, did not regret, as he would later go on to say that Dumbo is his second favorite film,
Wow.
behind next year's hit, Bambi.
Really? Because
Aw.
Are you serious?
This is
Bambi above Dumbo? Are you kidding me,
He
Walt?
loved Bambi. And he loved Dumbo.
Did this change when Mary Poppins came out?
He said this years later on. He said this like in 19... It was on that Disneyland TV show, so that's like in the 50s.
Oh, because I thought he for sure like loved Mary Poppins
Well,
more, but
Maybe just animated. Films that like he animated,
Yeah.
they made. Something interesting to note, this movie is very short, as we mentioned, even by feature film standards. It's just 1 hour and 3 minutes. There's actually a reason for that. Dumbo is a very tightly budgeted, scripted, and produced film because Walt needed it to bring in a much-needed revenue after the failures of Pinocchio and Fantasia.
Poor
Really?
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Pinocchio was a failure?
Over
At
the
that
course of
time,
time, over the
It got-
years, it became a success, but initially it didn't bring in the money that they thought it was
Can we
going to
talk
bring
about
in.
that? I feel like this
We
is
briefly
very
touched on
much-
that, yeah.
Wow.
So an easy
I mean,
way
I
to...
understand Fantasia. But,
Yeah.
So, well, those also were costly films to make as well,
Yeah.
too.
I can only imagine. I feel like Fantasia, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So what's an easy way to make money on a film? Well, you don't spend a lot of money to make it. And you put pressure on your staff, what's left of them anyway, because there's a strike going on.
And they also used some of the stuff from Dumbo in the movie that we watched last, The Reluctant Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like showing
yeah.
them do Casey
Yeah.
Jr. voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
I
end,
don't know.
All aboard.
In the end, the final cost to make Dumbo was only $813,000.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say $813.
That would be very impressive.
That'd be really
Um,
impressive.
Right.
Making it Disney's least expensive film of all animated film of all time. But it grossed $2.5 million in its original release, so it did make a much needed profit back.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, kind of saved the studio going forward and put some revenue in them.
How
to
much
make
did you say it cost?
Cost $813,000.
But then what did they make? Did you say?
$2.5 billion.
Billion?
Million. I'm sorry, million.
I
No.
was like,
Wow,
whoa.
Yeah, wow.
that would be impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The easy nature of the film would prove to be beneficial for Walt and the crew, who were almost excited and happy to flesh out the story right from the very beginning. Walt would even say, Dumbo was the most spontaneous thing we've ever done. It started with a little idea, and we kept working on it. We kept adding, and before we knew it, we had a feature. A feature of 62 minutes. The animators themselves even asked, shouldn't we try to add 10 more minutes on this thing to make it, a little longer? And Walt said no. That other 10 minutes is liable to cost another $500,000.
Okay.
So they were on their budget. They were sticking to it. It's 63 minutes, and it's staying 63 minutes.
You said 62.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus, it's 63. I don't know, maybe credit-wise, but 62, 63, whatever. Give or take a minute.
I'm just pointing out
Yeah,
your
I think with the credits.
inconsistencies.
I thought on Disney Plus it's
64.
Yeah, it's at 64.
Yeah, it's in that 1
It's
hour
like-
and 5 minute range.
Yeah, right.
Give or take a couple minutes.
I'm just saying. You just
Credits.
keep saying different things.
Yeah,
so.
whatever. How did the critics receive it? Probably pretty well with that amount of money that they made. As mentioned, it would be Disney's most successful film of the 1940s, which is saying something because it's only 1941 here, so there's 9 more years of movies that they're going to do, and they don't touch Dumbo.
Some of that's the war, though.
Well, I was going to say that it's also impressive considering World War II is still going on, and the United States is just getting ready to enter into the war as well. So that hurts their numbers globally. Tons of praise across the board, with Variety calling it a pleasant story, plenty of pathos mixed in with a large dose of humor, a number of appealing new animal characters, lots of good music, and the usual Disney skillfulness in technique in drawing and use of color. That use of color we would see later on in the film changes whenever they feel like it, because some animals, their outfits just change willy-nilly.
Oh yeah, and it was so annoying to me.
well, at one point, Dumbo's eyes changed color.
Yep.
But Michael said it might have just been like his pupils were
But
dilated.
not quite sure.
But I was like, that's not Dumbo when he was hiding in the hay.
I was like, what do you mean? So we went back and we're like,
his eyes are
oh.
black. Dumbo has blue eyes. You know I was
His
spot blue
eyes,
eyes.
were,
Yeah.
his eyes were fully black.
And I was like, hey.
It's like,
More praise in December 1941, Time magazine planned on having Dumbo on the cover of their magazine. They were going to label him Mammal of the Year to commemorate its success. However, did not come to fruition because it was dropped due to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, which is a little more noteworthy, I would say, than Dumbo having a successful box office.
I guess.
Yeah, but they would make it up.
If you want to celebrate something happy,
Yeah.
instead of-
They would make it up to Dumbo on the last issue of December. They would include him, and they would just say that they patriotically said that the advent of war made him more than ever a superb expression of the democratic way of life. He could only have happened here.
Dumbo?
Yeah,
Okay.
Self-made American dream kind of
I
situation.
guess so. They're trying to turn
like...
Dumbo into some kind of American propaganda. I don't know.
Like, what?
Cool. He's a fucking clown, but all right.
Yeah, literally.
Dumbo shows if you get shit on enough in this country, you can make it.
You
Yeah.
can fly.
Yeah.
Maybe we should ask a lot of different people that. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
Awards-wise, at the 14th Academy Awards, it won Best Scoring of a Musical Picture, and Baby Mine was nominated but did not win Best Original
I
Song.
know.
I cried the whole time.
Yeah.
Most of the reviews at the time really touched on the emotional aspect of the film, which resonated with audiences, and I would say it probably still does all these years later, as Alex can attest to over there.
Really tearing up.
It's a classic mother-child kind of bond.
Yeah,
You know?
and we'll get more into Dumbo himself later, but like he really is kind of like a perfect protagonist. Like he's innocent, he's kind, he's gentle, he's very likable. Like it's kind of hard to come up with a reason not to like Dumbo, other than if you just like hate children, I guess.
If you hate happiness.
Yeah.
You hate adorable things.
Last on the ratings, today's ratings, Rotten Tomato has a certified fresh rating of 98% among critics and only 70% among audiences. I imagine that might be due to some of the controversy that comes with the film that maybe
that's
weigh that
probably-
down.
Yeah, I was gonna say what gave it a bad rating, but yeah. Makes
Well,
sense.
Speaking of controversy, boy, does this film have plenty of that. While it does have a loving story, it's only fair to mention that it has some of Disney's most notable examples of racial stereotyping of minorities, specifically black people. For example, all the circus laborers are depicted as African Americans, the only ones seen in the entire movie, really. And the song that they sing while constructing the circus, Song of the Roustabouts, contains a good deal of rough, very rough lyrics.
I don't know if you guys watched
I really
it.
didn't catch on to that, to be honest
Do you
with
have
you.
the subtitles on?
Did you guys have
No.
the subtitles
Yes.
on?
You put those
Okay.
subtitles on, you'll see what I'm
That's
talking
So
why I
about.
didn't
as a
catch
kid, this never obviously, but like we were watching the lyrics and I was like, oh
I know.
my! I was
I
like,
know.
There's
what the
one
fuck?
towards the end that's really...
It's so bad.
I just remember they said they were working for bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Alrighty then.
You're like, oh, true, I like bacon and eggs.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, yeah, you
I
don't.
don't
Yeah, you don't even like
She likes
bacon.
vegan eggs.
She likes vegan sausage and
Only
vegan eggs.
Only in Disney.
Yeah, only in Disney.
Additionally, the group of crows that we meet towards the end of the film has a long reputation as a negative African-American stereotype. The lead crow is actually voiced by a white actor, Cliff Edwards, doing an imitation of a Southern African-American for starters.
Really?
That sucks.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
The lead
Right.
crow, his name is also Jim,
Oh.
as in
Oh,
Jim
wow.
Crow. I didn't know that until
sheesh.
today.
And
He and I were talking
Do they
about
say
it.
that at all in the movie that that's his name?
They do call him Jim in the movie, yeah. And the mannerisms of the other crows have often been considered racist as well, with the way that they
Like, yeah.
carry themselves. It's also it's fair to mention some have defended the crows in the movie as well, citing that they are in fact one of the very few characters in the film who sympathize with Dumbo.
Yeah.
And
That doesn't make it not racist.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, you can be both. You can portray people in a not so favorable light while also having them, but it doesn't
Not
like cancel it out.
be
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, just because they weren't the villain doesn't mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was a rough time.
Whoopi Goldberg herself even expressed a desire for the Crow characters to be merchandised by Disney, giving the reason that because the Crows sing the song in Dumbo that everybody remembers the most, which, debatable.
I wouldn't
Oh,
think
no.
twice about that.
You think that's the most popular song?
I think the one the mommy sings.
I think
is.
Baby Mine might be.
Yeah, I think
Really?
that one.
Yeah.
Oh well, for me, I'm not gonna sing it because
Please don't.
Yeah, but like.
No, not
That
because
song-
singing wise.
No,
I'm
I
just
know.
saying.
No, I know. No, yeah, but like that song plays in my head literally all day long. It's like,
Really?
all right, I like hear music in my head literally all day, and that's like I have a few songs that are like always in my head, and that's one of them. I don't know why.
Disney has.
Yeah.
I know specifically the Dapper Dans. They do sing When I See an Elephant Fly, but I'll just say they sing it in a more acceptable way to
You
sing
mean in
it.
a less
Racially
Racist?
insensitive.
yes.
Yes, they do. Well, regardless, it's pretty clear after the movie comes out years later, Disney has distanced himself from the Crows, as when they make the remake in 2019, their presence, along with Timothy Q. Mouse for that matter, were not even included in the film at all.
Why did you write the
I
mouse?
know. What does Q stand for? Quentin? Is it Quentin?
I'll look it up real quick.
I loved
Hang on.
him.
I know.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Victoria, Q doesn't stand for anything. They never defined it.
What is
it's just
that?
Timothy Q. Mouse. By the way, that remake in 2019 is incredibly forgettable. I don't know if anyone else here has seen it besides.
She liked it.
Oh, I saw it.
Really?
The live action one?
Yeah,
I saw
Well,
it.
it's very different.
It's
It
dark.
is very
Yeah.
different.
I know, but
Because
I was
of who made it.
expecting it would be.
was it Burton?
Yeah.
Oh, it was
It's a
Burton,
Tim
okay.
Burton film.
I
It was made to be dark.
It was
I didn't
really
like it.
long. I could see why people didn't like it because it was very far from the original.
The only thing I remember about it is Danny DeVito was the ringmaster.
Yeah.
That was,
exactly.
the, that was the highlight of the movie.
Danny DeVito, I love your work.
Yeah, I'm sad that Timothy wasn't in the remake.
Mm.
But
Well, Dumbo, on the other hand, does make a few appearances in other Disney films, aside from the 2 Dumbo movies that Disney has made. He has cameo appearances in Lilo and Stitch. You got one for me?
Roger Rabbit.
Who? Is Dumbo in it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, because I know the Crows are in Roger Rabbit.
Dumbo's and Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay. Well, he's in that
They
too.
throw peanuts at him out the window.
That's right.
On the studio lot.
Okay. He's in Lilo and Stitch. He's a toy on Lilo's shelf in her room. The Great Mouse Detective. He's in that as well. Blowing bubbles. I think at one point.
Movie. Are we gonna be up to that movie soon? Not for a while.
That's
Because
I'll
I
come
love
out.
that movie, and I feel like it's so old.
I think
Anyway,
we might be a little
continue.
far away. I think it's like 50s or 60s.
I have like
That might be my favorite.
I have a memory of Alex in my head going, Radigan.
Radigan.
Yeah, like,
I just love it. It's just so good.
I've still never seen it.
I fell asleep
watched
when she
it.
tried to show it to me.
And more recently, Frozen 2.
She never saw
When
us,
the kids are playing, when Elsa and Anna are playing as kids.
Okay.
Oh, as kids?
Yeah, when their kids are playing with different snow toys, one of them is Dumbo.
Oh, really?
And I
missed
think
that.
Baymax maybe is another one.
I feel like
know
I think
Baymax.
Baymax is one,
I don't know.
actually.
I'm trying to
I
remember
got a cookie in my mouth.
Speaking to the microphone while you eat that cookie. And finally, how about Dumbo's representation in the parks? Most notable one, I think, is Dumbo the Flying Elephant Ride, which is in basically every single Disney park, I think.
Yeah.
You board your own Dumbo, and it flies up and down in a circle. Opening day ride for both Disney World and Disneyland. Casey Jr.'s Circus Train is both in Disneyland and Disneyland Paris. It's another ride. It's like a miniature children's railroad that just kind of takes you around. It even has that gag that I think I can, I can't, but I can. That's part of the ride as well.
And there's the Casey Jr. Splash Pad.
Very good. That's part of the
sorry.
new... No, go ahead.
I didn't know if you were getting to it or not.
I'm always getting it. You
sorry.
know me. The new Fantasyland Disney World has the Storybook Circus section. It's got the Dumbo ride, Casey Jr.'s Splash and Soak station, and Big Top Souvenirs.
Which is my favorite, well, used to be
I
my
know.
favorite souvenir shop in the
I like
Magic
Are they
that.
ever
Kingdom.
gonna open it?
It's open, it's just terrible now.
Oh, is
I
it?
thought they didn't open it.
No,
I
they turned
think-
it like into
They
like
used to have
a
like
sitting area.
They used to have like really good treats in there, and now it's just kind of like the generic stuff.
Yeah.
Also, in that land, if you look down at the ground, there's little peanut shells.
Yes, there are.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
And finally, he's made very rare appearances as a walk-around character for guests to meet as well.
What?
It's really weird looking. His front, what do you call
look
those
this
feet?
up.
I guess I don't know if they would specify. They're like up in the air, and he's walking around on two legs.
Oh, no,
It's
no,
really
no,
weird
no.
looking.
They should just have him as a drone flying around.
That would be
Maybe they
awesome.
should just have two people in
that's
the
it.
outfit.
That first one.
like,
Get a load of this.
Oh, it's cute.
It is cute looking. It's just oddly.
no.
That is so cute.
That's
I
fucking
actually
weird.
think it looks like Dumbo a lot.
I hate it.
It's so cute.
I hate
The
it
ears
so
need
much.
to be bigger.
Yeah, the ears definitely need to be bigger.
He looks like Humpty Dumpty turned into a fucking elephant. Look at the
That's so cute.
I feel like the outfit's very accurate too.
Yeah.
Imagine just seeing this waddling across the
No.
And
It
then
looks like Horton.
yeah, it does look like Horton.
Yeah.
And then just finally, it's Dumbo has. You got more there?
No, just sorry. There's a person.
Oh, yeah.
You can see how
that's-
short
Yeah,
he really is.
Maybe they're sitting in the costume.
that would be cool. All right, let's get into this one. Dumbo. It's a three-ring circus bursting with fun is the tagline. Released to a New York City premiere on October 23rd, 1941, and to the rest of the world on Halloween, October 31st, 1941.
It's like the night circus. Ooh.
Rated G and has a runtime on Disney Plus of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 59 seconds. So that's where the confusion comes in.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Ben Sharpstein with the help of sequences by Norman Ferguson, Wilfred Jackson, Bill Roberts, Jack Kinney, and Samuel Armstrong. Story by Joe Grant and Dick Humer. Starring Edward Brophy, Verna Felton, Cliff Edwards, Herman Bing, Sterling Holloway, Margaret Wright, and the Hall Johnson Choir.
Ooh.
You can guess who they are.
The Crows?
Yeah. Before we open up, we get the dreaded Disney Plus disclaimer warning about negative depictions and or mistreatments of people of cultures, and as we discussed, no surprise there. Cue the overture and the opening credits. Fun credits here to start the film. You get the production cards displayed with different circus themes like clowns and animals and strongmen.
Fucking clowns.
Mm-hmm.
Do these clowns scare you?
No.
They're a little creepy looking.
They're a little weird, but like, no, they don't scare me.
Okay.
I did just watch, too, Bailey Sarian.
Yeah.
Plugging her really quick. Her YouTube channel is great. The Murder Mystery Makeup Monday girl. She also does a podcast called Dark History, I think. And she just recently did one on clowns and like the origin of the common, like the modern day clown look. And I thought it was pretty interesting actually because like original clowns did not have like the white makeup with the red nose and like the outfit and everything, and that was like started by like literally one person, and the whole like sad clown situation was literally just from this like alcoholic clown, like a real guy, and it was so sad. And I was listening to this on my drive to work one day, and I was just like, this is awful. I feel bad now because I'm terrified of clowns. So I'm like, man, I'm not so scared anymore.
Oh, they're just misunderstood.
Yeah.
We open up with a thunderstorm in where else, Florida. Our narrator sets the tone through the snow and the sleet and the hail, through the blizzard, through the gales, through the wind and through the rain, over the mountain, over plain, through the blinding lightning flash and the mighty thunder crash. Ever faithful, ever true, nothing stops him. He'll get through.
Oh, I thought you were going to say choo-choo.
Choo-choo. That would be good. If the narrator sounded familiar, that's because it's John McLeish, who worked at Disney and was the narrator for all the Goofy shorts. So we heard him actually on the Reluctant Dragon one because he was doing that as well.
Right.
There's a lot of familiar voices in this.
Oh, yes, there are, and I'll get to that. The introduction brings us to our first song, Look Out for Mr. Stork. We see a bunch of storks traveling through the sky, preparing to deliver a whole bunch of babies to some mamas.
Little babies.
Little babies.
They all got the same birthday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. How convenient is that? They swoop down on Florida and make their way to a traveling circus. Numerous animals receive their babies, including 2 cubs for a mama bear, a roo for a kanga, a baby hippo for a mama hippo, a bunch of tiger cubs for a pair of happy parents, and a baby giraffe for a mama giraffe.
There's a lot of single mamas on this.
There is.
At the
Yeah,
circus.
can I just ask the tigers? There was no male tiger. There was just 2 female tigers. Did you notice?
How do you
How do you
know
know?
there were 2 female tigers?
Oh yeah, I thought
They
I
don't
just
look
assumed
different.
it was a mom
I
and
think it was a
dad.
mom and dad.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be a mom and dad.
Same thing with the giraffes.
I thought there was only one giraffe.
Maybe
Oh no, you're
because
right.
I'm thinking- maybe,
Kangaroo
you
as
know
well.
what?
Yeah.
I'm mixing my tigers up with lions.
Yeah.
Oh,
with the
you
mane.
Yeah, tigers you really can't tell unless you peek.
Look under.
Yeah.
Take a peek, lift it up.
I don't think they drew that.
An eager elephant watches all these babies come down from the sky, but ends up sad when none of them are for her.
I feel her, Mrs. Jumbo. I feel so
It
bad.
was so sad watching her be upset.
I know, and all the other
kept
elephants
looking.
suck.
I know.
The next morning, Casey Jr., the train that transports the traveling circus from location to location, is being loaded up with animals preparing for departure. All the animals with their new babies climb on in before Casey Jr. calls out, "All aboard, let's go."
Just like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. That didn't sound
I thought someone
like
was
it.
going to do it and nobody did it,
Well,
so I just had to do
we
it.
don't have that cool thing.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
used
so
that
hard to
thing that
do.
you put
Yeah.
it on your
Yeah.
neck.
All aboard, let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Our
So we
next-
just sound creepy, but
Yeah. Which is our next song. It's Casey Jr. Casey Jr. Yeah.
I don't know the words. I just know the
Casey
beat.
Junior's
Jr.
coming down the track, coming down.
So
the
did
track.
you notice
Where the
before they
smoke
even
is
got to him going, when he took off, he went backwards first,
Yeah.
sprung, and it spanked his ass, and he went,
we don't
I
kink
didn't
shame
notice
here.
that.
saying.
Need a little encouragement, you know. We also see the name of the circus, which is WDP Circus, stands for.
Walt Disney Productions.
Very good. Circus.
Well, you said WDP, so.
There you go.
We know what circus means.
Yep.
We then see another stork who appears to be very elderly, and by the looks of it,
Is ready for retirement.
yeah, he is late. He is very late with his delivery.
Is he the voice of the White Rabbit?
I have it written here.
No, it looked like he was the voice of
No,
Winnie the Pooh.
no,
No,
but
yeah.
someone else.
Well, I'm just laughing because the White Rabbit was always
He's
late.
late.
But no, I know I didn't think he was actually the voice. but-
Mr. Stork here is voiced by Sterling Holloway, which has a long career with Disney, doing numerous roles. After this kicks it off, but after this he would voice Adult Flower in Bambi, the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland,
Okay.
Kaa in Jungle Book.
Is he from?
I
wow.
love the
But wasn't
Jungle Book.
Ka also Pooh?
Is he from 12 Angry Men?
I don't know about that, but his most famous role is the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Thank you. I was like,
Getting so
wait a minute.
mad. Can you look up to see if that guy also was in 12 Angry Men, please?
He was juror number 2.
Yeah, that's Have you seen the movie?
No.
Oh, well, They're
Is he
all
the one?
none of them really have names. They're just they're just a jury of men in a room, and they're on a murder trial. And
Is he the one holding it up? Like,
he's the one. No, he's
Oh.
the little guy with the glasses.
okay.
He's not the one who whatever. We'll just
Okay.
watch it. But he's in there, and
Well,
he's a prominent character because
and
they all speak.
And he's done a number of voices for Disney, as we said, and he would be honored as a Disney legend in 1991 and was the first person to receive the award in the voice category.
Good for you, Starling.
So he spots the train from up high in the sky and takes off with his delivery. The aerial view shows it looks like a regular map that you would have. And it's got words going across each state saying Florida, Mississippi,
Okay, Colby.
Alabama, and whatnot. But one of them is labeled Kentucky. And Kentucky. That's Tennessee. They got their states wrong.
Oh no. Why did it take place in Florida? Because Disney World wasn't even.
Nope.
No, they just picked
Well,
Florida.
it did say winter headquarters or whatever. So I think they go down south. They probably just travel the eastern seaboard. So in the winter they go to Florida, and then
Because
in
if
the
you
summer
remember,
they go up north.
they weren't in the middle of Florida like where Orlando is.
Yeah.
They were
South.
kind of towards Miami, all the way
Yeah,
down
well,
towards the tip.
yeah. Now that you say that makes sense. Because when I was watching, I was like, "Oh, it makes sense," because that's where Disney World is. But wait, we're 30 years behind.
That's not even
Yeah.
a thought yet, I don't
Yeah.
think. Mr. Stork makes his way to Casey Jr. and stumbles along looking for Mrs. Jumbo. Mrs. Jumbo is our elephant from the night before, who was sad to have missed out on a baby. All the elephants call out to Mr. Stork and direct him to Mrs. Jumbo. Mrs. Jumbo is voiced by Verna Felton, who also doubles as the voice of the elephant matriarch, the one who kind of leads them all.
Oh, yeah?
Are you talking about the right elephant? Because I thought that was the head elephant, not Mrs. Jumbo.
The same person does both their voices.
The mean elephant and Mrs. Jumbo? Oh, okay.
Mrs. Jumbo doesn't have a lot of lines though.
No.
She has one line, you know what it is?
It's just the name of Dumbo.
It's just Dumbo. That's her one line. But Verna
No,
Felton.
it was
Jumbo
Jr.
Oh, Jumbo Jr. That's right. Yeah. Verna Felton also kicks off her Disney career. She does a lot of voices for Disney as well. She voices the fairy godmother in Cinderella, the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland,
Off with their head.
Aunt Sarah in Lady and the Tramp, Flora and Queen Leah in Sleeping Beauty, and finally Mrs. Hathie in The Jungle Book. Yeah, Winifred, Mrs. Hathie in The Jungle Book.
Okay.
Which is actually her final role. It was released after her death in 1967.
So sad.
She passed away in 1966, one day before Walt Disney passed away, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And for some weird reason, even though she's done a ton of voices for Disney, she's not a Disney legend.
Because she's a woman.
There are plenty of women who are Disney legends, but
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying it's overdue. Mr. Stork goes through the whole spiel and gifts Mrs. Jumbo with an adorable baby boy elephant. The baby's name is Jumbo Jr., and Mr. Stork sings happy birthday to Dumbo Jr. before exiting.
Yeah, he does a lot of he's like, this is still part of the package. No one else got it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Maybe because he was late.
Maybe.
That's why he's so late.
Probably
He's
is.
finishing up
He's
with the last
carrying
one.
an elephant, too, though.
That's true.
Listen, you would think with all those years in the service, you would,
I think all those years in the service, they give him a lighter baby.
I know. That's one of the rookies.
All the elephants fawn over the new addition to their crew, including Mrs. Jumbo, who instantly falls in love with her baby. All the elephants continue to fawn over Jumbo Jr. until he sneezes, causing a gigantic pair of ears to sprout out from
Flop right out.
It's not his fault he's an African elephant, okay?
Oh my god, have you ever seen such big ears? They were so cute.
the judgmental bitchy group of elephants gasp in horror.
Is that really what your notes say? The judgmental bitchy. Oh god, he really did write that in his notes.
I like that.
They gasp in horror at the baby, and one of them even grabs his ears, making fun of them.
That's so mean.
Mrs. Jumbo, the one who grabs his ears sounds, it's not, but sounds a lot like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask that.
It's not. As far as I know, maybe it is, but I didn't see that. Mrs. Jumbo, the protective good mother that she is, smacks away
She's like, whack!
with her trunk and guards her newborn baby.
Which, like, is understandable.
Yeah,
You
like, back off, bitches.
I
like,
know.
come on.
Like, my god. And they're all
Yeah,
like,
but I think
"Whoa."
the one wasn't really like meaning like to be mean.
It doesn't
Like,
matter.
You don't make comments about someone else's baby.
Why not?
Because if they're a newborn,
It's
like,
terrible.
you just don't.
You just don't. If you want to think, oh my god,
I
that
thought she was
kid-
being lighthearted about it, but then the other ones were like mean.
Well, she like touched his ear, and I think that's like it's like you don't touch the baby.
Especially
I
a
don't know.
newborn like
Yeah.
that.
It's RSV season.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly.
Jesus.
As the elephants continue to discuss the newborn, one of them comes up with the hilarious nickname of Dumbo instead
Yeah,
of...
that was mean.
Yeah.
Just a baby.
Mis-
Baby.
And then, like, I don't understand why Dumbo stuck because it was like a mean name. Even the nice people were calling him Dumbo.
Well, he like reclaimed it and owned it and turned it into something
Yeah.
positive.
Okay, good.
Mrs. Jumbo's had enough. She closes the door on all the other
She's like,
elephants.
fuck all you assholes. Oh, and what did they call her? Didn't they like call her a skank or something?
Oh my god.
They called her a thought.
Really?
No, I mean they really
They did. They said something.
They said
about her.
something
I
that
can't remember
implied
what
that
it
she was like a whore. And I was like,
You
what?
whore.
Yeah. I was like, what?
They were basically talking crap about like her response, but like, what did you expect her to do? You're
know.
messing with her baby.
I know. And we never see Mr.
She wasn't
Jumbo.
acting like a lady.
No, they're all.
Oh yes,
ladies.
I think that's what they said.
I think that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, they
That's what
said
it
she
is.
wasn't acting
Unladylike.
ladylike.
Yeah.
So she gets some privacy with Dumbo, and she tucks him in with his own ears and
was so
caresses
cute.
him.
She swaddled
So-
him. Alex is really gonna like cry.
It's
Dumbo, by the way, is the first and only protagonist in a Disney animated feature to have no spoken dialogue
Well,
whatsoever.
he's just a baby.
No lines. He does squeal at some points, I
Yeah.
think, but that's it.
He hiccups a lot.
Yes. Casey Jr. travels all through the night, through the mountains, up the mountains, and down the mountains. We get
I thought I could.
a little reference to the little engine that could.
Is that Disney related at all?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. But yeah, as he's going up the mountain, he says over and over again, I think I can, and then
I didn't think he was
Yeah.
gonna do it.
You thought it was just gonna fly backwards?
Yeah.
Kill the whole
I
train of
personally didn't
animals?
think we needed the. I thought I could, or whatever he was saying. Like,
I did.
bro, we see it with our eyes. Thanks for the obvious.
Encouragement, okay?
Move on.
Finally, the train slows down and comes to a halt for the night in their next location. And here is where we get our next song, Song of the Roustabouts.
Which, like, why they made them set it all up in the rain is beyond me. You could have just waited till the next morning.
Some of the
Yeah.
animals helped out.
Yeah, all the elephants were helping.
Yeah, the lyrics are not very favorable. They're pretty bad. Racist comparison to a certain animal. Their
I literally
work,
gotta look them up.
yeah,
Because I
their work is described
didn't
as
think that.
slaving away.
What's the name of that song? Do you know?
Song of the Roustabouts. Terms like boss man and stuff like that. Just not good. Not good. The next morning, the circus parades around the streets of wherever we are. I don't think they ever really specify where they're going next. The band plays, and all the animals are shown in their cages as crowds cheer. I like the gorilla who, in his like anger and rage, he breaks off part of the cage. And
Then he says,
yeah, and just carefully places it back. You know.
are the people like screaming in terror when he breaks it? Is that what I hear in the background?
I don't know, maybe.
Because
Yeah.
it sounds like they're screaming in terror, then when he puts it back, they all
Oh, okay.
go silent. Like, oh.
As the elephants march in a line holding each other's tails, the crowd begins to laugh when they see Dumbo's ears.
So mean.
This distracts him to where when he tries to run and catch up to the other elephants, he trips over his ears and falls into a puddle of mud in front of everybody.
Poor
It was
baby.
devastating. I wanted to hang myself. It was so sad I couldn't watch it. It was just too much for me.
It's only going to get better. Mrs. Jumbo gives Dumbo a bath as he adorably splashes around with it. There's a very cute scene here with
so cute.
Mrs. Jumbo
so
playing
cute.
with Dumbo and bonding.
Yeah.
Outside the tent, however, crowds are starting to enter the circus for tonight's show. A bunch of funny-looking boys gather.
One of them looks like Lampwick or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck, right?
Yes.
They
I was
st-
trying to figure out who that kid reminded me of, and
Yeah.
that too.
They start poking fun at Dumbo and laughing at his ears. His name, the kid's name is Smitty, by the way,
Yeah.
Oh,
which
that's
is
like my
like
dad.
not much better than Lampwick. I feel like
No.
But he has big
He
ears
had
too.
big ears too.
the gall of this kid making fun
I
of
know,
Dumbo's
I know.
ears.
He
He also-
ugly as sin.
He
His-
also looked like Fargus or from
Christmas Story, yeah.
Oh,
I hate that kid.
Also, he's a
Right?
ginger, Alex. So I don't know how you feel
Yeah,
about that.
I know. I'm only gonna say it, but yeah. So you know he was on my shit list immediately.
Sorry to all the gingers who are our listeners out there. We have a high listening rate in like Ireland and Scotland, but it's okay.
Thanks for being here.
Oh damn!
Dumbo.
Damn, Daniel. It's your fault, Dan.
I know. That seems,
Damn it, Dan!
seems to be a theme today. Dumbo, naive as he is, doesn't realize he's being made fun of, so he happily waves his ears back at the boys.
Oh my god, I gotta go. I can't take it. This is emotionally peeling away at me like the onion that you use in your tea. I just.
I know. And everyone listening is gonna be like, she puts onion in her tea.
It worked. You have a
Yes,
cold.
it worked. Okay, my throat feels better today. I did it for you.
Mrs. Jumbo, not wanting her son to be made a joke of, picks him up and carries him away to safety. The boys continue.
But they were like touching him.
They were grabbing him and
I'm
pulling
like,
him
how
back
did you
out.
get past? And like, why is
Yeah,
no one-
right.
You can't touch the animals.
How can a kid start pulling on an elephant? Even
Also-
a baby elephant. Come on. I
Yeah,
know.
they're ginormous.
Yeah.
Also, of like all the animals to pick on, I mean, tiger, sure, but like an elephant, you don't
Yeah.
fuck with elephants because
No.
they're huge. And Mrs. Jumbo's had enough. She angrily starts grabbing the boys with her trunk and spanks
Spanks him
I almost called
on
him
the
yeah,
Smitty.
Smitty. Yeah.
He deserves every second of that.
He did. He was a little shit.
Yep.
They all run away in horror as the ringmaster hears the commotion and sees that Mrs. Jumbo is wild and out of control. And how do you control an elephant that's wild and out of control? You whip her in the face,
And
obviously.
then you tie her down and
Yeah.
take her baby away. That makes things better.
Calm down.
Yeah.
What is I telling her to calm down? Like, bitch, you just took. Ugh.
Did you notice her eyes turned red?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did turn red.
She got
right.
mad.
Yeah, she was
And
pissed.
As Dan said, explains why that elephant stomped
Oh,
on that woman's
you ever hear-
grave.
do you hear that
I should've
story?
laughed.
There's a story. I think it was in India where an elephant made its way to the funeral of her handler. And apparently the handler was rough with the elephant all the time, whipped the elephant, this and that, and the elephant stomped all over the casket. Twice.
Elephants never forget.
Twice.
They never forget.
This
So.
elephant-
As in, it happened another day. Again.
Like, it wasn't just an accident the
No,
first time.
no.
It
This
was
elephant
on
was
her.
like, "Fuck you."
I'm gonna get you,
and
bitch.
I will dance on your grave. That is literally what happened. Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
I gotta look that up.
I guess that's how I know you're a shitty person.
Yeah.
If your animal doesn't like you,
Yeah.
then...
They all throw ropes over Mrs. Jumbo and pull Dumbo away from her, which only angers her even more. They lock her feet up in chains, and in a rage, Mrs. Jumbo fights all the workers and even dunks the ringmaster in a tub of water. But eventually they'll win the battle. Mrs. Jumbo is chained up inside a train cart that is marked with signs labeled danger and mad elephant. And
Yeah, what are they gonna do with her? Just keep her there forever?
Yeah,
That's
she was
all
in
they're doing.
solitary confinement.
Yep. Inside the cart, we see a sad Mrs. Jumbo accepting her fate while Dumbo cries in his empty pen without his mama. Mm-hmm. Nearby, all the other elephants are gossiping together
You would
about...
think one of them or all of them would take him in.
Yeah, be like,
oh my
poor
god,
orphaned
I
elephant.
know. We'll watch you. Don't worry, you're part of our pack. Because elephants are matriarchal and pack animals, so you would think that they would just absorb the baby. No.
No, their ears.
They come to the conclusion that even though it was an act of mother's love, it's still no excuse for not acting like a lady. They even go as far as not blaming her, but blaming that F-R-E-A-K.
Poor Dumbo.
I can't
Freak.
stand it.
Oh, she's for real crying.
It's so
oh my god.
sad.
Oh, it's okay. That's a pattern.
It's just a story.
It just makes me feel bad.
Oh,
We should have brought tissues for
I
this
know.
podcast.
I'm just kidding. Anything that's sad animals or old people or kids, I just want to fucking kill myself. It's just so sad. I can't handle it.
Aw.
I'm not suicidal, by the way. I just have a lot of feelings.
I just have a lot of feelings. Go home.
I'm just
Yeah.
a sensitive person. I'm empathetic.
Yeah.
Our next character introduced is Timothy Q. Mouse. It just occurred to me, I don't think his name is ever said in the movie.
No, I
so
don't-
if you watch this movie when it premiered, you would have no idea what this mouse's name is. He was just a mouse.
No, you see it written down.
On the
As in-
contract.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
On the newspaper or
All
whatever.
the way at the end of the... Oh,
It's at
wow.
the
So you went the
end,
whole movie not
Yep.
knowing his name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The mouse is voiced by Edward Brophy, who would frequently play dumb cops and gangsters in movies during this time,
Oh.
which I can kind of hear because he sounds like...
He has a very Italian, New York accent.
yeah, you pointed out Bugs Bunny. Which I
Oh yeah,
think
he
is-
sounded like Bugs Bunny to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see that.
"Nyeh. What's up, Doc?"
I can see that.
Kinda, yeah.
Timothy overhears the gossiping elephants and how they're talking about Dumbo, but he doesn't see any problem with his ears, unlike everyone else. Dumbo even tries to include himself with all the elephants, and they go out of their way to like block him and not let him
With
into
their
the circle.
big ass butts.
I know.
Oh, like, he wants hay. He wants to eat. He's hungry. He's a baby. Like, oh, the
Timothy
abuse.
Timothy feels bad for Dumbo as he walks away, and as retaliation, he walks into the center of the circle, and elephants supposedly are afraid of mice.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's like a thing, I think.
I think they actually are, right?
And bees, too.
Yeah, and they
Oh,
all
yes.
Stick
They all,
those bitches in the ass.
they all run away and scream in horror from Timothy. Timothy then turns his attention to Dumbo, who is hiding inside a sack of hay. He offers his friendship, which Dumbo is reluctant at first.
Who can blame him?
Who can
I
blame him?
know.
But he wins over Dumbo's affection by tossing the idea out there that they could potentially get his mother out of the cage, which he never really tries to do that, so he's kind of lying. He never really tries to free Mrs. Jumbo, but whatever. He's at least being nice to him, unlike everybody else.
Yeah. It's the best we got.
It was a long-term plan. It panned out.
He's got a plan. Timothy tells Dumbo that his mom isn't crazy, just brokenhearted, and it's not his fault that he has those big ears, and he thinks they're beautiful. He also says
He didn't sound super sincere with that part, but we'll let it go.
He also says a lot of people with big ears are famous, which apparently in 1941 audiences took that as a reference to Clark Gable from Gone with the Wind, Red Butler.
I know who that is.
I'm just saying for everybody.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know.
He was known for his gray eyes and big ears, which I don't know.
They kind of just stuck out. I don't know
Yeah.
if they were big, but
Well, that's who they think they were talking about.
all right.
Timothy sees potential in Dumbo and comes up with the idea of making him a star and a headliner. He calls him Dumbo the Great. The only problem is that the two of them don't know what he's great at. But they'll figure it out. Just then, they overhear the ringmaster in his tent coming up with an idea of his own.
Ooh.
The idea is for the elephants. He says 17.
Yeah, he
there
said
were not
17.
17.
It's 8, right?
There
I
was
don't know, but there was not
seven, I think.
And then Dumbo made eight.
Dumbo made eight, right.
Yeah, okay.
His idea is that he's going to stack all the elephants on top of each other to construct an enormous pyramid of pachyderms, which the end result is not a pyramid either. But
It's like a
they're on top of
backwards
each
pyramid, kind of.
Kinda, yeah.
Fucking dumbass.
Only problem with his plan is that he does not have a climax for his stunt.
And just saying, I know that climax doesn't always mean orgasm, but just the amount of times they use the word climax, it was like literally so uncomfortable. I'm like, why are you just stop using this word?
Well, without an idea, he retires to bed for the night and hopes that it'll come to him in his dreams. Timothy tells
I do that
Dumbo.
sometimes too.
Timothy tells Dumbo that he will be the climax and sneaks into the ringmaster's tent himself.
Michael's laughing.
Are we going to use this word a lot in this podcast
I got it
too?
written down a good amount.
Oh,
so.
shoot.
As the ringmaster sleeps, Timothy climbs up to his ear and pretends to be the voice of his subconscious and inspiration. He goes over the pyramid of pachyderms plan again, but this time he reveals to the ringmaster that Dumbo is the climax to his plan. He continues to whisper Dumbo's name into his ear before he finally wakes up. Dumbo. He wakes up from his dream and declares that he has his climax. He has a climax.
He's climaxed!
Yay.
Wet dreams.
That's what they call it in my day. The next day, the elephants are gathered before the circus crowd as the ringmaster explains what they're about to see very long-windedly. The elephant matriarch is the first to get into position.
And it kind of feels like they didn't practice this.
No, it feels like the ringmaster told them what they were going to do like 5 seconds before they went. She gets into position first, balancing herself on a ball. It's kind of like the logo for like Ringling Brothers,
Yeah.
like the elephant on the ball. Yeah. She's in the center of the stage. Another elephant then climbs on top of her.
And they all just like are making mean comments to one another about how the other one's fat and
Right.
all this
Just a
shit.
bunch of
Gain a little bit of weight, have you?
Yeah, and I was
What?
like, damn, you an elephant, but all right.
Right.
This is also where the color of the elephant's outfit like just constantly changes.
Like
There-
mid-frame, it'll
Yeah.
just be like yellow, blue, and I'm like,
there's one shot where one of the elephants is wearing blue. She falls out of frame, and when it pans down to her again, she's in red now.
yeah, it's like, oh, okay, consistency much.
Eventually, they all manage to create the pyramid. It's not really a pyramid, though. It's one on the bottom, 3 on top of that one. two on top of that, and then one at the top.
It's a weird cheer squad situation.
Yeah. It's like a diamond more than anything, really.
Yeah.
We also see Dumbo practicing backstage, and it's clear that his ears are getting in the way. Timothy comes up with the idea of tying his ears together over his head, and now it's time for Dumbo to perform the climax of the stunt. The plan is that he's going to get a running start, jump on a springboard, go flying in the air, and land on top of the pyramid and wave his flag. Instead, what ends up happening is Dumbo gets a running start, his ears become untied, he trips over them again, stumbles over the springboard, and crashes into the base of the elephants, causing all the elephants to lose their balance.
I was like, good. I couldn't wait for them to fall.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope you will break your stupid
You know what's
legs.
you know what I find really funny? Dumbo, when he tried to do it, he tripped, obviously. But then when the ball starts rolling and shit, he's able to run full speed with
Yeah.
ears
No
up. I'm
tripping
like,
anymore.
what?
Yeah, the elephants are trying to keep their balance as the audience screams in horror. They're spiraling out of control, running rampant. The elephant matriarch even screams to Dumbo as she's trying to save the pyramid. Do you remember what she said?
No.
She goes, "Out of my way, you assassin!"
that was funny.
Out of my way, you assassin.
Like, oh, okay.
To a baby.
I know.
Like, what?
And he's just like, I'm just trying to live my life, man. I don't know.
You all put way too much trust in me. That's your problem, not mine.
Like, I'm 10 days old.
I'm still learning to walk and shit. I can't even speak.
Aw, poor
Oh.
Dumbo.
Ultimately, the elephants go flying through the air, tearing down the poles on the circus tent, destroying it all as the crowd
Amazing no one
disperses.
died, honestly.
Yeah, they all run away in horror.
And there was no stampedes or anything with
Yeah.
all those people. That was
And
Impressive.
to close out the scene from the wreckage, Dumbo waves his white flag
Yeah.
to surrender.
Poor baby.
It was so... And it breaks.
It broke, yeah, with the D on it. Yeah.
Like, there's like a patch of tent that's like patched over like a hole, and you just see his little flag pop out, and he's waving it, and it just breaks. It's just so pathetic. Oh.
That night, the elephants are all bandaged up, tending to their wounds.
Fucking losers.
They all gossip about Dumbo some more. One of the elephants gossips about how the circus has taken care of Dumbo, and they need not to worry about him anymore. Dumbo has been made into a clown, and now
Oh,
we
this
be
poor
part of their
baby.
act.
he was so cute as a clown though.
Yeah, he was.
He was probably so scared up there with all that fire.
I know.
The elephants remark on the shame that Dumbo has brought upon them and take the solemn vow, from now on, he is no longer an elephant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you could just decide that like someone who's an elephant is not an elephant anymore.
Yep.
Riddle me that.
He's a clown.
He's a clown.
No, he's an elephant dressed as a clown. He's still an elephant.
He's a baby elephant.
He is
dressed
who
as a
he
clown.
is.
The next night, we see Dumbo's new role. He's painted up in clown makeup, wearing a baby's bonnet, and has a rattle. He's at the top of a burning building.
Alex just can't handle this whole
Putting
situation.
Alex through a lot today.
The emotional roller coaster is
Yeah,
intense.
really.
Oh, I feel so bad. Go on.
He's at the top of a burning building as one of the clowns dressed as a mama elephant calls out for help.
Which,
Help! My baby!
I know.
My baby!
They couldn't just get Mrs. Jumbo in there.
She's not doing anything. Like,
Oh, man.
just then, a fire truck filled with firefighter clowns drives in for the rescue, and they're clowns, so they make fools of themselves, trying to put out the fire to no avail. With the fire growing, now comes in the big finale. 4 clowns hold the trampoline at the bottom for Dumbo to jump out the window to his safety. He's afraid to do so one of the clowns
Shocking.
whacks him on the ass and sends him falling to the ground below.
What the hell was that? He just literally was like, whop! Like, did they keep him in there because they knew the poor little baby elephant was going to be too scared?
Yes. It's a
Mean.
show. It's a show.
It's fucked up.
We forgot to
An
mention
animal.
to get Dumbo to do the climax in the last one.
Climax!
Timothy did poke him in the butt with a
With a
pin
pin,
to get him
yes,
to go because he
true,
wasn't
true.
going yet.
All the butt stuff.
Yeah.
Dumbo goes falling to the ground, and he ends up going through the trampoline into a pool of whipped cream. I'm not really sure what this
something
was.
white. Something white.
Baby
Well, that was the
cream.
climax.
Climax. Yes.
Yep, and as the crowd cheers,
You're like, no wonder he was scared to jump on the trampoline. He ripped right through it. His big tubby baby butt. Just
the crowd cheers as the clowns smile and point at a depressed Dumbo with his rattle. And afterwards, The clowns all celebrate their success, and so they pour champagne for themselves.
And they want a raise.
Yeah.
Damn it, they're getting that raise.
Well, they want to raise because they decided, hey, instead of
Let's
20 feet,
No,
1,000 feet.
That was after.
No, that was 10.
It was no, she's right. It was after.
It was right there, though.
No, there's a song in between. Yeah.
At first, they were making it like, they were like, to Dumbo!
They toasted Dumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
Timothy
and
even
Sandy's like,
says.
Look, like, come on, they're toasting to you.
It's not cheering him up though. So Timothy tells Dumbo that they're going to see his
Oh.
mother, which
Because-
does cheer him up.
Is this where there's the song where they show you
Yes.
all? This is the baby.
Yeah, so they go to Mrs. Jumbo's cart. Dumbo puts his trunk in through the window. Mrs. Jumbo's still chained up.
And she
all-
can't even reach it.
All that she can reach is her trunk out the window, and the next song
She's
starts.
like feeling
Baby Mine.
around his little face with her trunk.
I think it's fair to say this might be one of the saddest songs Disney has ever done.
It is sad.
This might be one of the saddest scenes that Disney has
The
ever
whole
done.
thing is just heartbreaking.
Like, even to this day, I still think it's...
I remember the first time I watched it with you, and you were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was crying. I was like, holy shit. Mrs. Jumbo sings to her baby boy. Baby mine, don't you cry. Baby mine, dry your eyes. Rest your head close to my heart. Never depart. Thank you. She then picks...
I can't.
She then picks up Dumbo. This is a very famous scene that we've seen. She caresses him in her trunk and swings him back and forth lovingly.
You swing her back and forth in your
I don't
trunk.
know why, but my favorite pair of, like, animals is the hippos.
Yeah, they show a bunch of
Yeah.
animals with their babies too.
That's
going
my
to sleep through the
favorite.
night.
That's my favorite because it's just the bubbles and it's like.
It reminds me of like those children's books where it's like,
Good
the-
night, Moon.
no, it's like, it's a newer one where like, it's like a parent and it's like, I love you, like, I don't know, and it like says it like a bunch of times. And then it reminds me of the
Oh, the
what?
the Samuel Jackson one.
Go the fuck to sleep.
Yeah, go to-
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, it just reminds me of that.
Well, the song concludes with Mrs. Jumbo putting Dumbo back down, and him and Timothy walk off, and the two wave at each other to end the night. And just like that, a song is created for mothers and their newborns for decades and decades and decades.
If you play that when and if we have children, I swear to God, I will fucking murder you, and no one will see you,
And the baby.
and no one will see you like they don't see Mr. Jumbo. Okay?
I find it cute that he always grabs Timothy's tail too.
Yeah,
walks.
I know.
Well, such a loving scene.
Baby.
Anyway, back to the clowns. What a drastic change this
Yeah,
was.
right. They were like, all right, enough being sad.
The clowns continue to drink together and reminisce about the night. One of them gets the idea to raise the platform higher for Dumbo to jump out. They even get as high as like 1,000 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
And all the clowns love this. They decide to go tell the boss and march off singing our next song. It's only like 30 seconds long. The clown song, a.k.a. We're Gonna Hit the Boss for a Raise. There's some importance here, though. Now, if you recall...
Does that mean that they're slaves too?
No.
Oh.
The year is 1941. And during this time, there's a certain animator strike going on with Disney.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, this was meant to be a dig at the animators who walked out and are striking. Some of them even being caricatures as clowns. Some of the, I guess Disney wanted to characterize it as, you know, the strike is them hitting the boss for a raise as well.
Oh please.
So just a little, I don't know if it's playful shot at them, but
Everybody deserves
A raise.
a raise. Everybody deserves fair living wages.
that's what it was meant to be in reference
Even
to.
clowns. And by the way, the other thing I found out from Bailey's thing was that clown school apparently is like way more exclusive than like top tier like universities.
Interesting.
Like I think it's got like I could be wrong, but I think she said like a 2 to 3% acceptance rate.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's really hard to be a clown.
Did one of the clowns when he was taking off his mask look like a Goofy mask?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
What like in the shadows, it looked like he was taking off the mask to look at a Goofy mask, but down, and then his face changed because it was a mask.
Oh wow.
Do you want me to take that
What's
away
he
from
doing?
He's attacking
just
that ball
playing.
thing.
Oh. What I did catch is that the voices that they use for the clowns just kind of change willy-nilly, like assigned to different people.
Yeah.
Like in that, there's no continuity there. When the clowns leave, one of them accidentally bumps a table, which causes a bottle of champagne to fall off and into a bucket of water outside the tent. Perfect timing for Timothy and Dumbo to come walking by.
They'd be thirsty.
Yeah, Dumbo has the hiccups from crying so much, so Timothy gives him a drink from the bucket to fix it. Unknowing to them, the bucket is filled with alcohol.
Okay, but the one thing I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Dumbo drinks with it. They don't drink with their trunks.
Yeah, Dumbo.
Just saying.
I'm pretty sure when Timothy offered him peanut before, he sucked it up through his nose.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
they don't do that. But all right.
They
anyway.
have
Shot
mouths.
out the shell with his
Yeah.
nose.
Like they do have mouths.
Yeah. Like anyway, moving on.
Dumbo's instantly drunk off the water. Timothy falls into the water himself, and when he emerges, he too is drunk.
I
This
need
brings
some of that.
Yeah, right.
Shit.
right.
And I was like, Michael, do you feel like they're having a fever dream? He was like, it looks like they're tripping on acid.
It does.
It looks like a fucking acid trip.
It did.
Yeah, it brings about the next song, which is "Pink Elephants on Parade."
That's so
It's
scary.
so creepy.
It's a
So
See,
song.
that's
It's
funny
a sing-
because so many people are split. Like
Yeah.
some people find it creepy and others don't. I didn't.
It's a song consisting of hallucinations and psychedelic visions from the two. By the way, the term comes the name of the song. It comes from the term "seeing pink elephants," which means being drunk. It's an old term.
Okay. Well, also, I figured out, I think I know why it's creepy to some people. Because the elephants in the hallucination don't have eyes.
Yeah, they had like
They look
black
like
eyes.
skulls
Yeah,
of
that
them.
part,
I
that
think
part was the
I think
creepiest.
that's why people find it creepy.
We see all sorts of wild visions, like the pink elephants marching around and frolicking. Their features are exaggerated and constantly changing. They kind of remind me of like the heffalumps. From Way
Yeah,
Over There.
that's what
I
I
can see
said.
that.
You stole my line.
Oh, well, you didn't say it. You had plenty of time.
I said it when we watched it.
I was waiting for you to say it again.
Screw you, man. You wrote it down, which means you stole it. You didn't give me
I
credit.
gave you plenty of time. Look at all this time I got it here for pink elephants, for the heffalumps.
Damn it,
Nice,
Dan.
You really did this time.
He did.
First lunch.
Alex is always sticking up for Dan.
I
She's
know,
so
I
nice to
appreciate it.
Dan.
Thank you.
She's always like, leave Dan alone. And I'm always like, fuck you, Dan.
Come on, Dick.
Bring me a
Stop
sandwich
it.
with just cheese and peppers on it. What the hell?
I thought it was weird you wanted a sandwich with cheese and peppers. I was like, this girl just wants cheese and peppers. That's weird, alright.
Damn it.
I don't know what you vegans do.
Well, that's
Cheese.
cheese.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Let's see. We see the pink elephants as pyramids, camels, snakes, and ghosts. They're even ballroom dancers at one point.
Figure skaters.
The hallucinations come to an end when they all crash into each other, floating back down into the sunrising sky and turn into clouds. It's the next morning. I do like this scene because I feel like it's not really saying much, but it's like the most artistic scene
Yeah.
of the movie. And it's definitely different. It kind of reminds me of like something you would see in like Fantasia.
Yeah.
When they had like the abstract sounds and like it kind of reminded me of that. But I don't know. I'm like you both said it's kind of like freaky. I didn't
It's
find
kind
it
of
all that-
long too.
Yeah, it was a lot longer than I remembered.
I don't think it's all that freaky. It's a little surreal and maybe
Yeah, I just
like
felt like it didn't add up with like there being alcohol in the water. Like,
It seemed like it was an acid trip. I'm just saying. I'm like, I've been drunk several times and I've never seen pink elephants.
Several
All right.
times. Not once, not twice, but several.
So is it
As a
similar to your
notable
acid
drunk.
trips?
I've never had an acid trip. Okay.
Michael
Do you want
All good trips.
Michael
Just
started-
Disney trips.
Michael started that conversation as a notable drunk.
Right. As a notable drunk, but not acid user.
Yeah.
I guess that's what would happen if a baby had alcohol.
I
Sure,
guess.
yeah.
Maybe.
Or if a mouse.
Or a mouse and an elephant.
But I could see this freaking out kids.
Yeah.
Like
I
they're
guess.
just watching Dumbo and all of a sudden there's like these morphing
Soulless
elephants
Yeah, they're
looking
like
at the screen of
multiple
elephants.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, as we said, the next morning it is sunrise, and we pan in on a tree high in the sky, and within the tree we meet the crows.
Jim.
All right, we
Jim.
we meet Jim.
Jim and the gang.
We don't need to go into too much about the crows. We talked about them a good amount earlier, but they're presented in a less than favorable way. I think is fair to say.
In a stereotypical way.
Yes.
Yeah.
The crows have found Dumbo and Timothy passed out in the tree.
And they're like, what the fuck?
the main-
How'd they get in the tree?
Yeah.
The main crow, Jim, wakes them up to see what they're doing all the way up in the tree. The two of them realize how high up they are, and they freak out, and they fall all the way to the ground, hitting branches on their way, much to the
Ouch.
crow's amusement. As the
I would
two...
laugh.
Yeah, as long as they lived, I mean, they were alive.
I'm just being
Hey,
honest.
baby falls out of a tree, I'm laughing. You know, that's the funny shit right there.
Yeah, you guys are fucked up.
As the two leave with their tail between their legs, Timothy tries to figure out how they even got up in the tree. Jim jokingly suggests that maybe they flew up in the tree, which Timothy thinks is the actual answer. He excitedly proclaims to Dumbo
Well, it
that
is the answer.
he tells Dumbo he flew, and his ears are the perfect wings, and labels him Dumbo, the ninth wonder of the universe and the world's only flying elephant. The crows think this is even funnier now, and we get our next song, which is When I See an Elephant Fly.
But for some reason, I just wanted to keep singing that song from Peter Pan. You can fly, you can fly.
Me too.
I would have taken that here instead.
Yo, I like this song.
I like the song too.
Yeah.
They list all the things that they have seen that are ridiculous, but they have seen everything when they see an elephant fly, and that is my incredibly polite and censored way of describing this song. Timothy is now mad at their mockery. He tells the crows that they ought to be ashamed of themselves picking on the poor orphan Dumbo.
Yeah.
He asks them put themselves in his shoes, being in this cold, cruel, heartless world, just because he looks different than anybody else.
As if they have no experience with that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
The crows are moved.
Is that distracting?
crows
Should I
are-
take it away from him?
You can if you want
I
it.
think it's gonna be mess up the
I-
audio.
I might be able to hear it. I don't know. That noise that you've been hearing is one of Hillary's cats just rattling a ball around.
Chasing it.
Malakitty.
He
I'm
took
so
it out of the
That's
toy.
alright.
He ripped it out again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one of those
He
things.
took it out. Yeah, he always tries to take the toy out of the ball.
He's like, why'd you take it away, Mom?
Like, damn it.
Oh, Malachi.
He's like, what, bitch?
Literally like, fuck
It
you
was
guys.
just so cute the way he came out with it in his mouth. He's like,
I
I did
will
it.
not be censored.
I did it.
I will be heard.
What are you doing?
Timothy, mad at their mockery, he tells the crows that they ought to be ashamed of themselves picking up the poor orphan Dumbo. He asks them to put themselves in his shoes in this cold, cruel, heartless world. The crows are moved and touched by Timothy's words, and they want to make it up to him. Jim has the key to help Dumbo fly, and offers him one of their feathers and labels it the magic feather. Timothy eagerly offers it to Dumbo, proclaiming that he can now fly.
So I don't know if this happened with any of you guys, but like I haven't watched this movie in years, and in my memory, this feather is a white feather.
Yes, me too.
It is not white.
Yeah, but that's because in the new one.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I didn't write that down. I'm saying that's what I
Yeah.
thought too.
Well, I saw that after, and I was like, huh, but I don't know why. I feel like when I think about it, I just don't think of it as a black feather, even though like, why would they
What
have
other
a white
feather would it be?
Yeah, like why would they have
Yeah.
a white feather like they were with crows? You know what I mean?
Well, they're going to test out this magic feather, and they're going to test out Dumbo's flying as he starts flapping his ears on like a cliffside to take off.
That's a perfect place to start.
Yeah.
You'll just fall off the cliff and
Go
die.
big or
Just
go
shove-
home.
yeah.
Yep.
This causes a lot of dust to kick up, shielding our view from what's going on, but when the dust settles, we see that Dumbo has succeeded in flying.
Yay!
He and Timothy are now sailing in the air over the terrain with the crows flying over the land.
They're like, I have never seen that before. I've seen everything.
The next night at the circus, as a crowd has gathered inside the tent, the clowns and Dumbo are performing their burning building act again. This time with Dumbo even higher up all the way to the ceiling.
1,000 feet.
Timothy is up there with him and the magic feather. Dumbo takes off and jumps down, but as they're falling to the ground, Dumbo loses grip of the magic feather and it floats away.
Oh no, floats off into the wind.
For fuck's sake.
The two panic.
They can't catch a break, these two.
Mid-falling, the two panic as they fall closer and closer to the ground. Timothy pleads with Dumbo to fly. The feather was just a gag. He had the ability to fly all along. Dumbo opens up his ears and rescues the two as instead of falling to the ground, they soar through the air and successfully
It was
fly
really
around the
close
circus.
too. It was one of those like
Yeah.
The crowd cheers the magnificent flying elephant as he performs tricks in the air, embarrassing the clowns and the ringmaster on his way.
Yeah.
He even grabs a bunch of peanuts in his trunk and he like machine guns them at the elephants who have turned their backs on him. Dumbo has made history. We see numerous amounts of newspapers putting out the story of the amazing elephant that can fly. Should also be noted that the date on the newspaper is 1941, which makes this the first Disney film to be set in the current year that it's released. Dumbo's ears are insured for $1 million.
Oh yeah, I laughed
All right.
at that.
He has also set the altitude record.
Yeah.
Timothy has signed a Hollywood contract.
He's this manager now.
Yeah.
And great news, the U.S. military has now dumb bombers. So
Right.
Yeah, they
another
were-
victory for USA.
Some propaganda there.
USA. We then conclude the film with Casey Jr. making its way onto the next city as the elephants now happily look on at Dumbo.
Now there's fans.
Now they love him. They're riding that success, that gravy train.
Yep.
The caboose of the train is Dumbo's own private stylish cart. We see Mrs. Jumbo has now been freed.
Which, I thought that she died.
Mrs. Jumbo does not die. I know,
was,
it's hard to
taken
believe
away.
that a Disney movie, the mom does not die, but she does not die.
I know she got taken away, but I thought that they shipped her away.
Oh, no.
Do they do it in the new one?
They do, but the new one, that's not why I thought that. I just always thought that they shipped her off never to be seen again.
Well, Mrs. Jumbo's here. She's sitting in the back of the train, happily watching her son fly in the air, following along with all the crows.
Ready to party.
And the movie concludes with a reprise of When I See an Elephant Fly, as they have now seen everything, because they've seen an elephant fly. The crows wave goodbye to Dumbo as Casey Jr. sets off into the sunset, onto the next town.
And Dumbo's hugging his mama.
Closing out the film, the end.
Do you think Timothy just was Dumbo's friend just to get exposure?
No, I think he was.
Because I feel he's dressed as a ringleader, and he always pushed. He never pushed to help the mother. He always just pushed his career.
Yeah, he started out saying that we'll free your mom, but then it quickly turns into I'm trying to find how I can make Dumbo a popular. I see what you're saying.
I think, but I think that ultimately he really felt like there is nothing I can do for this mother. You know what I mean? I think he just wanted to get Dumbo.
I think he was alone too, so he related as well.
Yeah.
Because he did cry a little too, he showed tears.
Yeah, I don't think he was being selfish or anything. I think he just
using Dumbo.
Yeah, I think he just knew there really isn't anything we can do for Mrs. Jumbo, so I'll do what I can for Dumbo.
Yeah, let's try and make the best out of the situation. Yeah.
All right, so anyone got closing thoughts, or do you want me to just go over what I got?
Oh, we loved it. It was so sad, but it has a happy ending.
Yeah,
I love Dumbo. And I love you, Cleo. If you're listening to this, you're the Dumbo to my Mrs. Jumbo.
Aww. So Michael's no one.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Jumbo.
Non-existent.
Michael, me and Cleo have our own thing. Sorry, Kelly. But we love you. It's just different.
So I'm more like the Timothy.
Yeah. I love the movie. I think it's so cute. But it's weird because but it's weird because I don't remember he only flies for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned that earlier, but I just was watching it and I'm like, wow.
I know.
There's
Yeah, I remembered it being more centered around that for longer than it was.
Yeah.
That was kind of the ending.
Yeah, I really like the movie. It's almost a shame. It's a shame that it's kind of paired with stuff like The Crows, which has really brought the movie down, because as a result of that stuff, Disney's kind of distanced himself from the whole movie as a whole. Mm-hmm. You still find Dumbo in the parks and stuff like that, but as far as seeing the movie on TV, I don't even know if I've ever seen the movie on regular television.
Yeah.
I don't think they would even touch that. But as a result, I think that a lot of people maybe today probably haven't seen Dumbo, because a lot of people watch them Freeform, ABC, whatever it is, where they're playing it a lot. And it's just not on there for obvious reasons. I think the character Dumbo is a very gravitating character. I think it's very easy to root for him.
Yeah, even with no lines.
Yeah,
he's
so
he's
true.
just an adorable baby dropped into a situation he had no control of. He didn't choose to have big ears. He didn't choose to be part of the circus life, but he overcomes all of it and turns into a success.
I feel it's also really easy to I don't know, empathize with the mom and sympathize. It's not like you see the mom and you're like, oh my god, she's a beast. You're like, oh my god, why are they locking her up? They were messing with her baby.
Yeah.
You know?
Downside, I would say, I know for us watching it, 63 minutes is a breeze, and it's so easy to get through. And maybe that's not a downside to you listening. Maybe it's just something that you can get through real quickly. But I actually think in the context of this movie, they probably could have benefited from a little more time, because it just feels so bing bang boom, move on to the next. Nothing really is given time to breathe, and from the moment that he flies to the end of the film, it's maybe I don't even know if it's 10 minutes.
He flew twice.
Yeah,
I think it was 7.
right. So from the big moment to happen, I feel that's just a lot.
And I feel there's a lot of gaps. We could have seen a lot more. They could have added in how Dumbo and Timothy got into the tree. That could have been another 10 minutes.
Well, kind of think of it. I thought you were right about his mom too.
What?
Like they were taking
I
her
thought that they
away,
took
and
her
that
away.
he flew and helped her. That's why I
thought-
swore I remembered that too. Once you said that.
When it was over, I wanted to be like, did they edit this version and like, is
right.
this like a newer?
Did you look it up?
Because
Your
I thought
mind's playing
she was
tricks
being
on you.
taken away, and then they found out he flew, so they kept.
The only edits
Yeah.
I've seen them do to Dumbo over the years is that because it was made kind of cheaply, there's a lot of continuity errors throughout the film, like colors, and they didn't even get all of them, obviously, but like there's some scenes where like there's like a head, and for like a split second, it's not even on a body.
Well, yeah, that was Dumbo's head when
Yeah.
it was like wrapped around Mrs. Jumbo's trunk. Like
So,
it was just his head,
over
and I
the
was
ye-
like, oh, okay.
Over the years, like for the Blu-ray version, they've gone back and they fixed a lot of that stuff and cleaned it up. But as far as like editing out scenes,
yeah, like
and
changing.
they haven't done any of that. This is
Yeah.
how it was presented in the original format and how it still airs to this day.
You know what that's called? The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I would say I like it a lot. I definitely recommend it. I actually had forgotten how much I like Dumbo. Like I don't really think about it all that much.
Good watch.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, I think it's important to see.
Yeah, it's a good one to watch. As Hillary snuggles Malachi.